Welcome back folks to Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. I'm LazierBandit, and last time we began the Virtuous Mission, we got a bit of background story. Basically, we are going to be rescuing a guy named Sokolov, he's a Russian scientist. He defected to the West, and then the Russians have got their hands on him again. Remember that MGS3 takes place during the Cold War, so all a bit of a different backdrop than the other Metal Gear Solid games that we've played. So we're going to make our way north, basically, to try and find Sokolov, and that involves going through the jungle, and you can see already how well they did the jungle. I mean, I can see something rustling by me, and it's a little froggy, look. So there's all sorts of different creatures in the jungle. One of the trophies, I believe, for the platinum achievement trophy is collecting every single animal in the game, I believe, and I do have the platinum on this game on a different account, and believe me, finding them was great fun. So here we have, I believe it's an alligator, could be a crocodile, I'm not exactly David Attenborough, but also we have this sort of sinking mud. Now you can actually die quite easily at this point if you let yourself sink all the way into the mud, so don't do that. The first time I actually died on that, I was so surprised because it was probably on my second or third playthrough, and I didn't even realise it could happen because usually you just sort of head straight through quite quickly, but I was taking my time for some reason and I drowned in the mud, which is never good. So let's make our way through to Dramuchij North. And it looks like we're not alone in the jungle.
Two enemy soldiers.
They're probably KGB troops sent to guard Sokolov.
AK-47s and grenades.
Well equipped then.
Snake, your presence in Soviet territory is already a violation of international law. We can't let the Kremlin find out that the CIA and the American government are involved. Contact with the enemy is strictly prohibited. Don't engage them in battle either. This is a stealth mission. Got that?
The Major is right. The point of this mission is to sneak through the jungle without being seen. The success of the mission depends on how well you use your camouflage. Change your camouflage by selecting Camouflage from the Survival Viewer. The uniform option lets you pick your uniform, while the face option lets you change your face paint. Choosing camouflage that blends in with your surroundings will help you conceal yourself more effectively.
Sneaky.
Also, don't forget that anything that moves will stand out in the jungle. If you just stand up and run around like an idiot, you're bound to be spotted. But if you crawl instead, you should be able to sneak by without being noticed. You can see how effective your camouflage is by looking at the camo index. The camo index shows how well your current camouflage blends in with the surrounding area. The higher the value, the harder you are to spot, and vice versa. The key is to make yourself one with nature. Keep that in mind as you go along, okay?
Okay, so not only do we have to worry about the sort of lines of sight and things like that as we have in the previous MGS games, but now we have to worry actually about how well camouflaged we are. So let's have a quick peek, see if there's any better camouflage for us to equip. So yes, if we paint our face with the woodland camo and equip the leaf camo, we can get ourselves up to 90% camouflage, which is very nice indeed. Now, MGS3 is an absolutely fantastic game. It's probably, though, I think I can totally see you. I wonder what that's a trophy for. Maybe if having a certain index. I've probably played the Metal Gear Solid games 1 through 4. Basically, the order that they were released in is the order in which I've played them the most. So I've probably played MGS1 the most, then 2, then 3, then 4. So this is a game where I can be a little bit rusty. which I found out to my peril during my recent playthrough in the pursuit of the Platinum Trophy. As you see there. So I was trying to hold him up and he saw me pretty much straight away, which isn't much good whatsoever. So there we go, that's our first alert phase in the game, which isn't great. Luckily, because he didn't get to call it in, we didn't go full on alert, but it was a little close for comfort, to be honest. You do have to be a little sneakier in this one, probably, than MGS2. You can't sneak up on guards quite as readily. And as I mentioned, the silenced gun isn't quite as well, it is just as useful and just as powerful, but it's just not quite as overpowered because we have the limited use of the silencer, sorry, that the Major mentioned. And let's quickly whip on some better camo. I'm in a tree. How is tree bark worse camo? I just sort of went to that thinking it would be better, but apparently not. And if I lie down, is that going to be better? Yeah. Hopefully this guy won't see me. Oh god. Oh, balls.
Footsteps.
What did I tell you? I'm so bad at this game.
Who's that?
Oh no. Take that. Oh wow, this is even worse than I anticipated it being. I was doing quite well, sneaking up on him, had my camouflage all sorted, and then I decided to move around and get myself spotted. I'm just going to leg it past before that guy sees me and head up to the next area. So apparently I'm a little bit rusty on this one. As I say, the stealth does work slightly different than in the other Metal Gear Solid games, so it might take me a few episodes to get used to that, but all the more fun for you guys, I guess, watching me fail repeatedly. A beehive. I just love that evil grin of Snake's there. So, as the game suggests, if we shoot... That's not the pissing beehive, you idiot. The beehive... He should... be attacked by bees! Ha ha ha! Get him, my pretties. And also it's useful because we can pick up some fruit, ointment and all sorts. Now, there we go. Successfully, we have beed all of the guards in this area, and we can make our way across this bridge quite happily indeed. However, I don't want to make my way all across the bridge, because if I remember correctly, which is something I very scarcely do. Now, if I get this wrong, I'm going to look an absolute berg. Oh, just. There we go. Yes, if I remember correctly, which I have for a change, there is a machine gun down here. Well, an assault rifle, really. Pretty much useless in terms of a stealth scenario, but as you've seen so far, stealth can often go out the window when I'm playing MGS3, so perhaps it's for the best that we pick up something a bit more substantial. And we'll just make our way up this cliffside. You can press your back along and go that way, but it's a little tricky. Now, one other thing that makes this game much more difficult than MGS2, at least in some regards, is the complete lack of radar, as you may have noticed. So in MGS2 they sort of brought that in with the node system, in that you had to get it in each individual area, but on this there is no radar to be had whatsoever. You are literally, you've only got your wits about you. I think you can pick up some sort of like sound detecting equipment later, but it's nothing like as useful as the Soliton radar, and makes it so that you have to be much more cautious and aware of what's going on around you, as opposed to just relying on a minimap.
Major, I've reached the abandoned factory where Sokolov is supposedly being held. This place is a dump. can't see Sokolov.
Looks like it's exploded or something.
Security is pretty tight. There are sentries posted around the perimeter. I wonder how many are inside.
So it's quite clear that they
Your objective, Sokolov,
they don't want us to get to
inside the
Sokolov.
factory. They should be holding him in a room in the northeast section.
Northeast section. Got it.
Be careful. Your mission is to bring Sokolov back alive. He must not be exposed to any kind of danger. Do not approach Sokolov while in the alert phase.
Right.
Oh, and one more thing, Snake.
You mean there's more?
No, it's just that when you get to Sokolov, I want you to tell him something from me.
And that is?
Sorry for being so late.
Is that all?
Yes.
Understood. Beginning my approach to the target.
Let's do this. Right, so this bit can be quite tricky, especially when you're playing like me. We have got to, as Major Tom suggested, get into this facility. Calling it a facility is maybe a bit generous, as it looks pretty dilapidated, but we've got to make our way inside it. And not only does that mean that we don't have the jungle to hide in, but when you're inside, obviously it's not very open. There's lots of walls and things like that, so you can't actually see. Let's take this guy out. You can't see too well. Got to what time making that shot, didn't I? Yeah, you can't see too well where the guards are going to be, so often you'll come around a corner and it's obviously a bit of a blind wall for you and you can get spotted. So we're going to be nice and careful here. Making our way around, making good use of the cover. I believe we can sneak under this bit. So if we just pop this guy, poof, we can make our way into the actual factory. Steadily does it, Snake. Now, one of the best things they added into Ground Zeroes and Metal Gear Solid 5 was letting you... Oh, actually, no, they added it in Metal Gear Solid 4, I think. Oh my god, I did not see that guy. Whew. Is being able to run whilst crouching, so like being able to move at speed whilst being somewhat stealthy. Because in this, it's basically you're either moving or you're not. There's no real in between. Bit of squares to blend in with the red brick here. Oh, there's a snake down there. See, if that was me and I saw a snake, I'd be like, "Whoa!" and completely give my position away. But the snake is a little braver than me, as you may well have gathered. Turn around. Go on, you know you want to. Right, you can stop slithering towards me with intent. That's right, you stop right there. Okay, that guard is just going to be looking right at me. Aha, there we go. Taking him out like a boss. And so now, we should, with a little luck, be able to make our way in to Sokolov. Hey, we managed to get through an area without being spotted. There's a bonus. Sometimes I impress even myself. Keeping the fire going, using something there.
Are you one of Volgin's men?
Who?
You'll never get it from me.
No. I'm a CIA agent. I've come to escort you back to the other side of the Iron Curtain.
You're CIA?
Yeah. I was sent by Major Zero, the man who got you out 2 years ago.
Zero?
I have a message from him.
What is it?
He said to tell you sorry for being so late.
did he now?
What does it mean?
It means he's a man of his word.
Fair enough.
But we've got no time for this. You have to get me out of here before they arrive.
Who's they?
Colonel Volgin of Gru. You in the West know him as Thunderbolt.
Is he a supervillain?
Never heard of him.
He's a member of the Army's extremist faction, a man who seeks to seize control of the motherland. Ever since the Cuban Missile Crisis 2 years ago, Khrushchev has been pursuing a policy of peaceful coexistence with the West. Despite resistance and criticism from hawks in the army and the provincial authorities, Khrushchev has managed to suppress the opposition so far. But the failure of his agricultural policies has put him in a precarious position. And on top of that, the tragedy last November.
President Kennedy's assassination.
Precisely. In a sense, Khrushchev has lost his biggest partner, and his power base is rapidly crumbling away. A certain group is plotting to use this opportunity to seize power by rallying the anti-government forces, overthrowing Khrushchev, and installing Brezhnev and Kosygin in his place. The mastermind behind this plot is Colonel Volgin of the Gru. He has control over another secret weapons research facility much like this one, OKB-812, known as the Granin Design Bureau, and is using it to further his plans. But that is not enough to satisfy him. Now he's plotting to seize the secret weapon I have been developing here and use it as leverage in his bid for power.
Well, he sounds like a top bloke. / total dick.
The intelligence says that they are going to make their move during the test.
Then, the soldiers outside.
Exactly. They wouldn't need that many men just to keep me inside. Their orders were to prevent Colonel Volgin from capturing me. Even if it meant killing me in the process, or so it would seem. Volgin will come. I'm sure of it. You must get me out of here before then.
Leave it to me.
By the way, your Russian is superb. Where did you learn to speak it?
From my mentor.
Is that so? America's truly a frightening country.
What's that supposed to mean?
No. I have no love for this place. Let's go.
So, only 2 episodes in and it looks like we're pretty close to completing the Virtuous Mission. Success!
Major, this is Snake. Sokolov is safe with me. He's doing fine. No injuries.
Good work, Snake. Now hurry up and get Sokolov to the recovery point. We'll rendezvous with you there.
Roger.
What about the sentries?
I managed to get past them.
I see.
Sneaky, sneaky. So that's one of those sort of contextual conversations where he might say, I killed everyone.
Probably just a weak signal.
He doesn't say that, but words to that effect. Depending on if you had like an alert or if you had to kill any guards. But we just tranked a couple of guys and that counts as a stealth approach. I always love this scene, like Snake being super sneaky and Sokolov just bumbling alongside him. Look at Sokolov, ready for action. Who needs Solid Snake? He could have bust his own way out. Kick your ass. Kamehameha! Oh! Who was that? Come on, Snake, don't be so useless. You're much better than that. Well, this could have gone better. We appear to be a tad surrounded.
This is the legendary boss.
Cowboy boots. Twirling his gun. It couldn't be.
You're from the Ocelot unit of Spetsnaz. What's a crew soldier doing here?
Soldier?
He's the Ocelot commander.
That's Major Ocelot to you.
That's right, folks. Young Ocelot.
Sokolov is ours. Now get out of here.
And Ocelot never lets his prey escape.
What?
Ah, so he's been sent for Sokolov. And apparently doesn't care who gets in his way. Ricochet hacks. So apparently even in the 60s, Ocelot was a badass. And just as cold-hearted as ever. He's just like, get off my hat.
I can't say it feels good to kill a comrade, even if it is for the GRU.
Sokolov, take cover.
Huh. You're not the boss, are you?
Oh god, that bit just every time. Could you have come up with a lamer way to call your men than pretending to meow like a cat?
What is that stance? Huh. That gun. If you're not the boss, then die.
Awkward. Teach you to laugh at me, you little whippersnapper.
Major! Leave it! Shoot the other one! Whoa!
The rock bottom. Snake apparently also a keen wrestler. And it kicks in at last.
ejected the first bullet by hand, didn't you? I see what you were trying to do, but testing a technique you've only heard about in the middle of battle wasn't very smart. You were asking to have your gun jam on you. Besides, I don't think you're cut out for an automatic in the first place. You tend to twist your elbow to absorb the recoil. That's more of a revolver technique.
You filthy American dog!
Will he ever learn?
But that was some fancy shooting. You're pretty good.
Pretty good.
That'll teach you to mess with Naked Snake.
Major, do you read me?
I read you. Snake, you alright?
I've run into a few snags. These guys were after Sokolov too. Apparently they were taking orders from a GRU colonel named Volgan.
A GRU colonel?
Part of an internal Soviet power struggle, according to Sokolov. Something between the KGB and GRU. Between Khrushchev's supporters and Volgan's.
Sokolov was being guarded by the KGB and hunted by GRU? Snake, it sounds like this could be even hotter than Cuba.
I don't like it. Something about the whole thing stinks.
I agree. You'd better hurry.
Sokolov ran off by himself, but I'll catch up to him.
We're counting on you.
Okay, so the Ocelot unit tried to intercept us from rescuing Sokolov, but we were more than a match for all of them. So what we'll do is, in the next video, we will go after Sokolov and try and get him out of here. But first, I will show you a little Easter egg. So, as we know, this is a young revolver Ocelot, known simply as Ocelot, as he's not yet started using a revolver. And in the later games, he is, of course, well, in them. So he's alive past 1964, I believe, when this game is set. However, he is here, unconscious, and I have a machine gun. So, if I shoot him in the face, we actually get a game over. Ocelot is dead.
You can't do that. The future will change. You'll create a time paradox.
Problem solved, series over. And as you see, you leave the menu on for a while, and Ocelot is dead turns into time paradox. Anyway, that's just a little Easter egg. Obviously, we can't kill Ocelot because he canonically survives in the later games, as he is obviously in MGS 1 and 2. Anyway, thank you very much for watching me, guys. As always, do take care, and I will see you in the next video.